What's up, you guys? I'm going to go over this trade that I took, including a analysis using market profiles. So you can see right here that I am short off of this 835s in the ES, just to retest at the top of this range. I am running about a 1.5 point stop. So here we see a D-shaped volume profile forming. So as we back out and look at these market profiles, we're going to take a look at the prior day. As we can see here, we start with an opening drive rejection. We do have a little bit of a range extension put in during the B period, but it does not have that follow through for a continuation to the downside. Everybody's really initial balance this, ORB that, and quite frankly, it's not very important to my specific execution strategy. I don't pull levels from that tight of a range or that small of a time frame anyways. But if it works for you, great. The only thing that I really care about is the opening drive, and that tells me the sentiment and the conviction of the market participants. So if buyers and sellers are in disagreement, you're going to have these range extensions on both sides of the opening range or the initial balance, typically. So looking at the prior day, I now have this initial balance range in my point of control from the prior day, which is going to be my reference point. And what I'm looking for is either a rejection of a retest of this prior point of control or an acceptance. And basically, a price should either hold below it or blast through it. So this would be like my line in the sand. So then the other thing I'm looking for is where we open relative to prior day's balance. So here we open out of balance and we have that rotation back up into balance, closing near the highs, basically value area high of the prior day. So to me, it's not as significant and it's not necessarily a clean trend day since we opened out of balance and just had that rotation back into balance. It would be different if we opened in balance, had some initiative buying, carry us while building value at new levels. That would be a stronger trend to me. So this was kind of just open out of balance and have that rotation back up into balance. So for today, I'm just kind of expecting a balance day. And on balance days, I'm just kind of looking to play the range if I do want to take a trade. Here we have another opening drive rejection, meaning that there's not really a lot of conviction on either side. So these always have a potential to retest the initial balance. So zooming into 2 days specific market profile, you can see that we do put in this range extension during B period. However, there really is no continuation or follow through to the downside. So then you can see we create this little bit of a balance area up here, and there is no value really being built at this high. So this is kind of where I decide to enter short. Typically with balance days, I also am more conservative with my targets. So I am just targeting this low volume region down here. And since there really is no strong conviction, I trail my stops just because we can go either way. We can rotate back up into this value area high, or we can go down into this value area low. And here you can kind of see a better look of this low volume region that I was targeting. So you can see here, I cover the short here, and I probably could have got a few more points out of this. However, it is a balance day. I'm being conservative with my targets. And as we come down and build value, we actually have a reversion back up into the middle of the range, which now is above where I covered my short. So realistically, after building this little bit of value down here, we should have been able to hold below this random low volume region if we were going to see a continuation to the downside. Typically, when we stop holding below those low volume regions, it means that trend is over. So if there's no more sellers at this level, then price will have to rotate back up to potential overhead supply to find more sellers again. So it's not always about getting every single tick or point. Getting a nice 13 to 15 point trade in the ES on a balance day, that pays the bills. You know what I mean? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you guys later. Bye.